Hey, how's it going, guys? Today I got a really simple video. We're going to be doing a service on the Protege. So I'm going to be doing the oil filter, and spark plugs. This is going to be really good for a beginner that maybe wants to work on their car for the first time. It's really simple. It doesn't take a lot of tools or time. So let's jump into it. Alrighty, so here's everything that we're going to be using today. I got a 5 quart of 5W30 full synthetic oil. I do got a brand new oil filter right here and a set of spark plugs. So these are the NGK BKR7E spark plugs. Make sure you get the right one for your turbocharged and non-turbocharged engine. I do have a turbocharged one, so do the research on getting the right plug, and I'll show you how to put these in. Super easy. You don't have to do it every time you do an oil change, but on an older engine like this, it's better to do it when it takes little to no time and it's fairly inexpensive. Alrighty, so the first step to actually doing your oil is you're going to want to jack the car up on both sides, get up as high as you can and as safely as possible, because we're going to want to have to crawl under the car to drain the oil out. Alrighty, now that the car is lifted, it should definitely give us enough space to crawl under there and get the drain plug and the oil filter. Alrighty, when you crawl under the car, you'll quickly see the oil drain. So it's right here. I believe it's a 19 millimeter, so you're going to need a bigger wrench to get that. So the oil filter is at a tricky spot. So if you crawl under and there's your oil pan, you're going to want to have to reach up and look behind here. If you see that orange and red thing, that's my K&N oil filter. You're going to have to reach up there and replace that. Alrighty guys, so once you crawl under, got your oil pan right here, and you have an oil, something to collect your oil bin or whatever. I'm gonna crack it open. So there we go. Not too smooth, but able to get it. Put that over there, and we're good to go. So we're just gonna let this sit here and drain, and yeah, make sure you clean your hands and wear gloves if you got them. I don't, so yeah. And then while we have our oil draining, I'm gonna move on to the spark plugs. So all you need is a 10 millimeter socket, and you're gonna need a spark plug socket. Alrighty, so here's the spark plug socket that I use. It's a 5/8. This one fits perfectly. As you can see, it's got that little rubber in there, so when you're pulling it up, you can bring the spark plug up with it. Alright, so take your spark plugs out. It's pretty easy. All you have to do, get your little 10 mil, crack open these ones right here, and then once you have these loose, they're pretty easy to take out. Take these out. Just like that. You're going to want to pop your plugs out. Make sure you keep track of where your plugs actually go. So if I pop this one out, simply just remember that it goes over here on the end. So, and then your coils, do the same thing. As you can see, they're kind of all connected right here. Pop these out. Pull it out and keep track of these. And then, yeah. So you got your last coil out, take it out. Now you got all of your coils and plugs out. Your spark plugs are down in there. Probably can't see anything, but they're down there. Alrighty, so I'm going to show you how to gap a spark plug real quick. You've never done it. So here's the spark plug right here. And you're going to want one of these little tokens right here. So this is a spark plug gapper. It's not the best thing, but it does get the job done. So you're going to put the spark plug on the coin, and you're going to see where it lands. So my car needs it about 0.30. As you can see, you kind of slide it over, it's a little bit more. So what you're going to want to do, you get the spark plug, and you're going to want to press it down like this. You can get a spark plug gapper tool, but like I said, for, just doing a basic garage thing, this never hurts. So you're going to gently press down like this, and you're going to want to press down, slightly bending it on a hard surface, and until you can get it tight enough to be where you want it. So it's still a little bit more, so I'm going to do a little bit more and get it set perfectly. So I just did it a little bit more, but as you can see, I put it on here And now I can go like that. It lands about a 0.30. So that's how you want it. Like I said, each car, check your gap and your spark plug, because having the wrong plug or wrong gap can be, pretty negative. So got my spark plug socket in here. We're simply going to go down and kind of feel it. Once you're on there, just gently just start taking the plug out. You don't want to strip it or anything. Just go very gentle, very light and precise movements on taking these guys out. Taking them out, it's pretty easy and they're not hard to do. And what you're going to want to do is simply just take all 4 out, and then we're going to put the 4 new in. So when reinstalling your plug, simply put it into the socket. And you're going to want to use probably a torque wrench, because these are going to be tightened down to around 16 foot-pounds, maybe 14 to 16, something around there. So you're going to want to simply hand tighten it at first, get as far as you can until you need the torque wrench. So if you don't have a torque wrench, look up to see kind of what else you can do to actually tighten it to that correct torque. Because if it's not to the right torque, there's like a little crush washer on it, and you're going to want to make sure that's properly sealed in there. So I got my torque wrench set to about 16 foot-pounds. You're going to want to tighten it to that correct torque, and once it clicks, that's how you know you've set it to the correct torque. But it should click here any second. Yep, starting to feel a little bit of resistance, but there we go. Set to 16 foot-pounds. Alrighty, so I got all spark plugs in there, they're torqued properly, and they're set to the correct gap. It's time to put the coil and plugs back in, and then your spark plug is done. So since we did that, the oil should be completely drained out now. Put everything back together, the new oil filter and the drain plug, put oil in it, and this thing's good to go. So the oil is done. It's gonna drip like this basically forever. So now it's time to actually put our plug back in, tighten that up, and get our oil filter. And let's do that. So it's gonna be hard on camera actually showing how to get in here, but you're either gonna stick your whole left or right arm up there, whatever you can get a better grip, twisting it loose and then moving out of the way so the oil can drip down into the oil pan. So it's gonna be weird. You can get an oil filter wrench if you need to, a good set of grippy gloves. It shouldn't be on there too tight. It's just that it's in such an awkward location. Before you put the new oil filter on, what I like to do is get a little bit of oil and simply put it on the ring right here, because you don't want this thing to be dry when you put it on, because that means when you're screwing it on, there's gonna be the chance of this thing getting crinked up, twisted, or torn, which is not what you want. So get it a little wet, it doesn't need to be soaking. So got the oil filter in there. You're going to want to make it tight, hand tight. You don't really need to get any tools or anything to tighten it. Just a good strong grip, and don't white knuckle it, but get it tight, very, very snug. So do that and your oil filter's good. Let's go put some oil in this thing and we're done. So yeah, like I said earlier, the Protege takes around 4 quarts of oil. I think technically 3.9, but I like to run 4 just because these things like to burn oil. Just a little bit of oil ain't gonna do anything bad. Alrighty guys, and that's it. So super simple, draining the oil, filling it up, changing the oil filter, changing the spark plugs. Something you could do for the first time on your car if you've never done anything like this. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them below, drop a like, and make sure to subscribe.